everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Lead Her podcast. We have a very, very, very special guest here today, my mum, and we're on a little holiday. Mum, do you want to let everyone know where we are?
Today we are at my father's, like Leanne's granddad's home. He's sadly dead now, but it's in Kerrykill in Donegal. And we're looking on to Mulroy Bay.
So we're going to give you a little, for people that are watching on YouTube, you would like to see this. For everybody listening at home, we're just giving you a little preview of the incredible view looking out at Mulroy Bay. So this is where we came growing up, isn't it, Mum?
Yeah, I'm up at my Uncle Colum's house just now. We're just a house just down the field from here.
Nice. Yeah, good. So I've actually not been here since my granddad sadly passed away. So yeah, it's nice to be back and to see it again. It's been quite a while since we were last here. But it's spring and it is just so sunny. It's been like the best week to come, isn't it?
It's been
gorgeous, and we've been on an Irish boot camp. What have we done? We went to run. We've done Gaelic football. My cousin convinced me to come round and try Gaelic football. We did a hike of Muckish. Is it called Muckish?
Mount Muckish.
Which is like the highest mountain in Donegal.
Third highest mountain in Donegal.
Mum, shoot me down.
I need to check that.
And then we went kayaking this morning, so we've been so busy. We're meant to run tonight, but we're actually going to patch that and we're going to do a bingo instead. So Mum's going to just do a little podcast with us today and share a bit of your life, because you've been a huge inspiration to me, and I think I am the woman I am today from yourself.
Oh, thank you.
The best role model. So if you are listening on the podcast, I'm actually just painting Mum's nails just now. We thought we'll do our nails while we're having a little chat. Just really kind of casual here, but it means you get your nails done at the same time.
I need them done for tonight. So.
Yeah, so I'm just going to take my shoes off actually and get a wee bit comfier. Right, okay, cool, awesome. So Mum, what was I like as a little kid?
She was quite determined and very shy.
What about, you said before I was even born?
Before she was even born, I was telling her earlier on today that it was like something out of the aliens. I was lying back on the couch, and you know how like when you're a mother you get movement and whatever. This was actually my whole skin coming up and the heel moving right along, and she was ready to come out. When we went to the hospital, she was born within 4 hours.
Wow.
And she was born the day that they predicted. They weren't always good at predicting days then.
I still don't think they are, to be honest.
Kevin, he was about 7 days late, and Leanne's younger sister was 7 days late.
Oh, was she? You were over with Chloe?
Yeah, we were over with Chloe as well.
It's actually quite interesting. If you look at my big brother's certificate and mine, birth certificate, I was born on 16/16, so 16th hour, 16 minutes past, so 16 minutes past 4. And Kevin was 17/17. How weird's that?
How do you know that?
I seen it on our birth certificates and I was like, that is spooky. But I don't know what Chloe is, but I've not checked Chloe, but yeah. So, Chloe was during the night, wasn't she?
And she was during the night. She wasn't. She wasn't long delivering her. It was only like a couple hours or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was about a week after her time.
Yeah. So what was it like? Right. Okay. Dying to get out the womb. I came out. What was it like? Big dark hair, wasn't it?
She had thick dark hair. So did Kevin. And she was 9'6". She was
a big baby.
Leanne was one of the she was the heaviest baby. She was 9'6". Kevin was 9'3", and Chloe was 9.
Big
Leanne,
babies then.
And she was quite chunky. But she was a fantastic child, but if she didn't want to do something, she never done it.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Give us an example.
Where she grew up, there was a lot of mothers and families were all round about the same age, but they seemed to be a lot more boys.
Yeah,
maybe Kevin's age.
Yeah.
There was a lot more boys. They all hung about together.
Yeah, I just remember wanting to hang about with Kevin, my big brother, and his friends. I just wanted to hang about with them in there. But then at one stage they all got a bit too big for me, I think.
Aye, they didn't want you there.
Yeah.
But there was a wee girl that lived next door, and her mum always tried to get Leanne over to play with her, and Leanne just wasn't having it. And she preferred the company of adults. She loved like her aunties, and my next door neighbour we were really close, and she used to go long walks with the dog, and she just, if she had it in mind, she wouldn't, no matter what we done, you wouldn't, mix. Even at school, she was, you didn't like big groups. You didn't like big groups of people, or and then when you were, we were talking about that. We've talked about that a few times. When she was nursery, she was born in the February, so she still would have been 4, and she could have went to school in the June. But between myself and the nursery teacher, we decided that best to keep her back because she was so shy. She was really, really shy, and she would sort of curry into you, at times.
Yeah.
But it was it was the best thing for her, because even after that you were still quite shy when you went to school. Shy, and you weren't shy amongst my friends or adults or people you knew, but yeah, I don't think you like big crowds.
Nah. I think that's quite true, that, to be fair. And I remember Liz, who was Mum's neighbour, Mum's friend, she's kind of like an Auntie Liz, wasn't she? So she had her dog, Tanya, I think it was Tanya.
Yeah.
And oh my God, like if I seen Liz out in the garden sunbathing, I'd be straight out in the garden like, hey Liz, can I come and hang out with you and Tanya? Like, I just loved being, and I'd even go up to Lizzie's and stay overnight and stuff, and that.
Oh, you loved it. I think, and Liz never had a wee girl. So she used to love that, sitting with Chloe. I'd come back from work and the two of them would be sitting out sunning
Chloe
in the
and
garden. Oh, is it Leanne? I do this all the time with them too.
All the time. And I've started calling my little sister Chloe Lola. I go, Lola! And she goes like, why are you calling me your dog's name?
I'm absolutely fine when you aren't, like, so I'm just in with Chloe, and that's it. But it always catches me out.
So, very quiet kid, kept back in nursery. I didn't like sleepovers. I just liked my own company, I think, and I just felt more me around adults and lots of little girls and stuff. I just didn't really like that company. Even when on holiday, you think you would try and make me go to like the kids clubs.
Oh, definitely.
On holiday.
And I used to always think when you did go on holiday, not that we went a lot of holidays.
No.
We only had about one or something.
A couple, a handful.
And you would just think, oh, I hope Leanne meets somebody. I really do hope she'll meet somebody.
So were you worried about me at any point, thinking, God, she's a bit too shy, or she's not got any friends? I remember I struggled with friends in primary school, but did you ever worry about me, or did you just think she'll be fine?
No, I just kind of probably, you just knew you were fine, but you just weren't, it just, you decided, and, especially if it was a group of 3 girls or something like that, I felt as if you were always getting left out, and you'd come home and tell me these stories, and I'd be like, oh, feeling so sick and worried about you then, but only because, because you were upset.
But, yep. And then I guess, like, when did you maybe see me come more out my shell then? When do you think you seen me be more like the Leanne you see today? Can you think of a time when you maybe seen that come out of me?
Oh, definitely when... is it 6th year at school? And you seem to be like Jamie, was that friend? Yeah. Jamie and whatever you
Jamie was my gay best friend. He came out in first year. I was the first person he told he was gay.
I think
I was just like, all right, that's fine. And I told you Jamie was gay. What did you say?
I said, how does anybody know they're gay at that age? That wasn't a big thing out then. It was a wee bit more than what it would have been.
It was definitely early days then still, I think. Yeah.
But I think probably later on in secondary, you didn't feel you needed to. You kind of tend to like hanging about with boys more, didn't you? You know, you felt comfortable with boyfriends rather than
guy friends, not like
actual
boyfriends. I didn't really.
You were always close to Michaela, weren't you? You sort of stayed close to Michaela.
Yeah, right. You can give them.
But I don't think you had a big group of
friends. Because we're actually going to interview my little sister is here today. She plays football, but do you feel like maybe going into dancing, because I did a lot of dancing and I did solo dancing and stuff, like, do you think maybe you seen me get more confident from doing stuff like that?
I think you were, definitely helped. I think anything like that for children does help, like drama and dancing and stuff like that, and especially performing in front of people. And they used to worry at the beginning, but no, you were absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And I think at one point you had a solo dance on your own, and you managed that fine as well. And we all, and I couldn't keep my eyes off you. I'd be just looking why, you know, even if somebody spoke to each other, I was like, why they're not looking at us?
yeah, we love the dancing, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. So let's move on to you, because you're the main person that I wanted to have on here. And that side is showing that you're just like, you don't want to talk about yourself, but I think you should know how hugely inspirational you have been to me. So let's start telling everybody how awesome you actually are and everything you've been through, everything you've done. So how did, like, obviously you and Dad had a divorce very early on, so I think I was also going to say, if my accent's a little bit funny when I'm in Ireland, I seem to pick up an Irish twang, so
talk quicker.
I start talking really Irish, that's why. So you'll probably be thinking, why is Leanne talking so weird this week? Hopefully I'll have my Scottish accent back very soon. But anyway, so you were a single parent, and a lot of families around there, you were probably one of the first people to really get divorced. I remember kind of back then it wasn't really a lot of people around us didn't have their parents.
Probably was kind of and the kind of street we stayed and whatever, you know. Yeah, probably was.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else was divorced. So we were probably the first family in the neighbourhood that did have a broken family. And obviously for you kept me and Kevin and kept the house, and like, you could have maybe not have worked and went and got on benefits and maybe chose that route, but you were still very driven when we were kids, weren't you? And you went into more work, if anything. You were working more than ever when you had us. So how did you manage working, being a single mum, the transition from being a single mum and working? How did you find it all?
I think first of all you've got to get over the shock of it all and whatever, but at the beginning it's hard, you're worried and you're worrying on your own because you were still young, and you know, like, so I had my sisters to talk to and things like that, but it was a horrific time, but I was proud of what I achieved, like buying a house with your dad at the time, and you know, like, so I was proud at the fact that I had a job, a full-time job, and it was quite a good job. So you don't want to go back the way, you know it's going to be a struggle, and you know it's going to be hard. And but I must say I met a lot of really good people on the way along the road, and you know, people that helped me, and I think obviously the job I was in, I kind of had to give it up because I wasn't coping with splitting up. So left that job and started something not so stressful, and then thought, right, come on, you're better than this, you need to, you know, get yourself a better job. So I got myself a better job, and I met my friend, it's still my friend today, two of my friends actually. Mary, to start off with, I worked in the office with her as a cash managing all the money, and they sort of helped me out. We talked and we laughed, and when there was tears I had them, and you know, I think they sort of supported me and helped me through it. And then I ended up having to take a second job because obviously there was a lot of bills to pay and whatever, so I had this job as office supervisor, and then I took a night job in a pub because there was bills needing to be paid and things like that. And then my area manager got to hear about it, and Mary was going, oh, that's terrible. This is my friend's, her name's the same as mine. She was going, terrible that Mary has to do this. And he promoted me the manager in the office, and give me extra hours, so I never had to go out at night and work at night.
Yeah.
So it's funny, the people you meet along the way that really sort of respect who you are and what you're doing, and they help you out. So that was good.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing, and that's amazing from Mary as well, to like see you're struggling and to stand up for you and to create that opportunity for you as well. That's amazing from Mary, isn't it? So how did you feel having, like, obviously me and Kevin, like I kind of said to you earlier, like I feel mum having to go to work, like I didn't know any different, but like obviously me and Kevin had to do a lot for ourselves, didn't we? I'll tell a funny story. I don't know if I told you this, but I remember I remember one day you came home and we hadn't tidied up, and I just heard you coming in, and you might have had a bad day at work or something, I don't know, but you were like, this house is a mess, and me and Kevin ran into the bedroom and shut the door and held the door shut and you're like, this house is a pigsty, like shouting at us, and we were like, oh my god, we didn't tidy up. And then from then, every time you came home, I was like, right, I need to get the washing on, we need to get our uniforms ironed, like let's get dinner on, which was cheesy pasta for me and Kevin. Kraft cheesy pasta. Like we did so much.
But at the beginning, and I was so glad you got to that stage, because when you first had to do it at the beginning, because we had kind of childminders trying to help out here and then, but then you had to pay the childminder. But then what I would do, I would go and I'd make the sandwiches up and, leave a cup so you wouldn't, and it'd be simple things. And then when you started cooking, it was great. I was like, oh, thank God.
We were really like, and I think it's like one of the best things, like I'm so set in my ways, like I'm so, like, and I'm very independent, but I think that's because you did go off and work, and we knew you had to go work. Like I didn't ever go off. Was ever like, mum, don't go to work? Did we ever?
No, I think you were really supportive. Yeah. And you seem to understand from a really young age that I had to go and work, and yous were brilliant kids, yous were, and I think if I had to worry about yous, or yous were at school and things were happening, but I didn't have like police at the door. Yous got up to a lot, but I don't think I heard the half yet.
No,
especially Kevin. But no, I was lucky that yous were good kids. Yous were good kids.
Yeah, and like again, like we're so independent. We cooked, we did everything, and then like just school uniforms and stuff. I just think it's such great skills to have, that we just looked after and knew how to look after ourselves. Because I think Chloe gets a bit more. Chloe's a different generation. She's listening. Sorry, Chloe, but she does get a little bit more looked after than me and Kevin, and it shows. Amazing. So let's move on to that. So, what age did you have me and Kevin at? Well, what age did you have Kevin at?
Kevin, I was 24.
24. God, 10 years younger than me. Now,
yeah,
34.
And I think you were, I was 29, 28, 29. That work, that arithmetic?
There's 3 years between, 4 years between me and Kevin.
60 now, so...
I knew you were going to drop that in, so everybody goes, oh, you don't look 60.
No, not at all. I was going to say, take 34 away from 60.
No, well, if you had Kevin at what, 20, what is
24.
24, so you had me at 28 then. 28, 27, 28, 29. You had me, because there's only a couple of months between us for the 4 years. And then when did you have Chloe?
I think round about 41, 42.
Yeah, so that was a big gap. So I was 15, so it was almost like you were just getting us out the nest, and then you were having another one coming in. So, like, how did you find the difference with, well, let's say from having kids the first time to then having kids the second time?
I think things were really different. I wasn't out working as much when you were younger. Like when you were babies. And you're younger and you've got more energy and more time, more time. But when I had Chloe, I was at university. I was going to university. There was a lot going on. I just lost my brother. We're studying at the time, and loads going on. And I used to feel quite tired a lot. But now I don't know if it's what was going on at the time. I feel as if I'm still a mother now. I've still got like 3 teenagers in the house. I think you just get on with it and you just do what you do, and you can't beat yourself up thinking, oh, I should be doing this or whatever. It just comes natural, and I think you deal with situations as you go on in life.
Yeah. I think you said to me as well that you felt with Chloe it was more relaxed because obviously you just had to, so you knew why they were maybe crying, or you knew the stages that you were going through, so it's a wee bit less stressful in that sense that you knew she was going to be fine.
Especially when they're babies, because when you first have your baby, you're like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I remember being like that with Kevin, not so much with you, but when I had Chloe and she was a baby, and I think she came out of the hospital and slept for a day and a half, and like my sister was going, she not woke up yet, and everybody's going, she not woke up yet, and I'm going, she's fine, she was lying there healthy, warm. She took a big bottle when she got home, and that was her, but no, you don't have that panic or anything. You're more relaxed, definitely.
And I think another thing we're saying as well, like we say this all the time, but you maybe having Chloe later in life is probably why you're so young and active right now.
Definitely.
Because she's like, if you just had me and never had any other kids, like they do say, like when life slows down, you slow down.
Oh, definitely.
So you're non-stop with the girls.
And I think things like they make you do more, like you're going, oh no, I can't be bothered. Come on, Mum, please do this. And you're like, oh God. And then you do it, and then you realise you really enjoyed what you've done. Yeah, definitely. And then you listen to stories, and a lot of women end up in the house on their own, especially when they're 60 and they just out, the kids are away, they maybe have the grandkids, but I hear all the drama, all the stuff that's going on, and it keeps your mind healthy as well. Yeah,
having the girls there, I think that's been good for you, for sure. And how did you feel, like, obviously knowing you were pregnant again, were you a wee bit like, oh, holy hell, like, I'm 41, 42, like, did you have any worries or concerns, or were you?
I think no, I just accepted it that I was expecting again, and that was it, and I think at one point I was told by a fortune teller after you, and it was a good while after you, that I was going to have and I made them do my reading again, and it was something to do with an egg. I don't know, but anyway,
they said about me or something, I was going to be in a lab coat, or very caring and caring for people or something. That's not happened.
They says, well, you did end up, because mind you went
I was in lab coats
when you got a white coat. Kevin was going to travel. They could see him on a plane and travelling, so that kind of, and I wouldn't need to worry about you at all. She told me.
Oh, really?
I would not need to worry about you at all.
Yeah, I remember you getting that reading though. That's funny.
So that was it, really. Just what we were talking about.
I just said when you turning 42, 41, because obviously there's more risks at having children older, like in terms of their health, your health, like. Was there any worries? But no, I feel like from just even chatting to you just now, I feel like you don't think too far ahead. You just take with what's in front of you, and you just kind of take it a step at a time and just let it all evolve, rather than, because what a lot of people do is think of all the bad things that can go wrong in a couple of years' time, whereas it seems like you're just like, right, well, this is the situation, so let's just go with it and see what happens.
I think I was fine. Yeah, obviously the thing you think about is what age the Chloe will be when I was going to be like
60 now. She's 18, 19 this year.
Yeah, like, do you know what?
Crazy.
No.
Yeah. No. Amazing, awesome. So you've kind of dropped a wee bit already, but like obviously you had Chloe, and then we got made redundant, so me and Mum worked together. Mum got me a job in Summerfield. and you were the manager in Summerfield, and we obviously got made redundant, so we got a little payout, which was nice. And then out of all the things you could have chose to do, Mum decides she's going to get a nursing degree. So you were like, what, 48? 46. Yeah, that'd be right. 46, 4 years at uni. So what 46. Happened? Why did you, like, 'cause a lot of people would think I'm too old, I can't do that. And you told me actually yesterday why you actually thought that. So how did it come into your head?
I think as well that when times were different when I was younger, and like when you were just kind of more or less, you had to go out and work, and that was it, and you never had, oh, would I want to be or whatever. And I thought, oh, you know, I maybe do something I want to do now, and I've got a wee bit extra money there to pay the mortgage, and I can maybe, you know, do something that I want to do, and that's how I went into nursing. I was absolutely terrified.
You said to me when we were at Kevin's graduation.
Oh, that was quite inspiring as well. That there was Kevin had his masters in London, and me and Leanne had went there, and there was a gentleman that was getting his masters at 70, I think he was 72 or 75, something like that. And I used to think, wow, my God, you know, he's like so old. Why would you do that?
That's still be another 10 years from you, though. That's crazy.
I thought, now I think, oh my God, just don't stop, you know, just don't stop. You know, never think you're too old for anything, and also learning is brilliant, you know. I think, and when you're old, you can draw into yourself and see, like, one of my friends, Mary, I often say to her, you know, when you're in your house yourself, you're not speaking to anybody, you're not, and you lose the communication with other people, and but when you're out doing stuff and learning, you're keeping your you know, your brain active and things like that. But no, I do love it. I love learning different things, and
and you at going through school, so obviously she had Chloe, and you were kind of a single mum again then, and so your Chloe was in nursery, and I remember you would get up, drive Chloe to nursery, go study all day, come back, pick Chloe up, home, pretty much, wasn't it? It was pretty non-stop with Chloe.
And then because you'd done the nursing, 50% it's academic and 50% you need to go into the hospitals. So you had to work full time like a nurse and study as well. That
was it. Yeah, so you were working. I knew you were working, but I couldn't think what you were doing.
I also had a job at the weekend. That was caring. To make extra money. So we done that.
So you were non-stop, and
it was hard work.
It was really hard, and I think the same thing happened to me. Obviously, I went to university as well, and I really struggled with writing essays and like my English, and I struggled to keep up with everybody else. I remember phoning you one time just crying. I was like, I can't do this. Do you remember that? I remember what computer room I was in, and I was trying to write this politics essay, or I can't remember what it was on, but I was just really struggling with it, and I still had like a week to do it, and I was just like, I don't know how to do this. And then I went for some tests, and I found out I was dyslexic, and then the same happened to you at university as well. So obviously that made it harder for you, as being dyslexic, and
I think
going back into learning at a later age as well.
And then I think when I get told I was dyslexic, I was so emotional. I cried and cried when they told me, because you have no idea how many things I wanted to do when I was younger. And I feel quite emotional talking about this, but being dyslexic, not knowing, and the struggles and the disappointment in my mum's face when I never, you know, got good marks at school and whatever, and you just wanted to please people, and you didn't know that there was this part of your brain that wasn't working right, or you know, you needed a different way. And there must have been loads of people like me, loads of people, you know, that suffered that, and it is frustrating. But that's another thing I had to put behind me. There's nothing you can do about it now. You know, don't be bitter, don't be angry, just get on with your life, and you know, learn now the way you can learn, you know.
So what side, your left side?
Oh, hold on, this side here.
When you're dyslexic, some people do, everybody's different with their dyslexia, but you do struggle with left and right. So you've always struggled with that, but you never knew why, and you'd feel stupid as if there's stuff wrong with you, or you struggle to like pronunciate stuff. Like I do that quite a lot in this podcast. I can't pronounce words, so I just wing it, or I say the wrong word. But yeah, it's really frustrating when you don't know that you've got that, and you think, is there something wrong with me? I used to go to spelling classes at school, and I'd be in the spelling classes with all these younger kids and people just that didn't work hard, and I worked so hard, and I was like, why am I in a spelling class? But the reason I say the left and right is because at kayaking this morning, I was kayaking and the guy said, he was facing me, so he's like, hold it really hard with your right hand and then twizzle it with your left. So it took me until 30 minutes to go, oh, that's my left hand. So I'd been doing it the wrong way. So then as soon as I straightened like my right hand and got a harder grip my right hand, I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Like the whole way I was so tough with my left hand. And he's like, are you left-handed? I was like, no. And then also I had my bat and my, what would you call it? My sail? I don't know what you call that. My rower. I had my rower upside down as well. So it was great fun. Anyway, right. So amazing. And it was really inspirational to come along to your 50th. You were 50. You were graduating from uni, and I'd just graduated as well, I think.
And you had just graduated before me.
Yeah, and then you graduated after me, and it was just like, bloody hell, Mum's 50 and she's just got a nursing degree, and it just made you kind of realise like how much life you've got, and you can change direction, and you can learn stuff, and you can do stuff. You don't need to just stick to the one job forever and never do anything again. Like you've said earlier, like your life is so long, and yeah, if you're in your 30s, like, oh my God, it's still so young, isn't it? Your 30s, you don't realise how much life we've got ahead of us, and you should just take more opportunities and make the most of the life that you've got.
Definitely. And I think that's a big thing what you were talking about there is, you know, don't ever think you're too old. And, you know, when I split up with your dad, I was about 31, 32, and I thought I was an old woman. I thought my days were, you know, going to be at home. That was me. And I'm so glad that, you know, that I got it back in my head, you know, come on, you know, like get on with it. Yeah.
So with you, graduated from uni, and then one other question that we're nearly finished, guys. We've got a few more questions we want to cover with Mum, but you found love later in life.
Yeah.
We'll chat about that as well. So how did you feel finding love later in life?
I think, you know, when you find somebody when you're in your 50s, there is something about it. It's like, obviously he had his family, his name's Mark, and he had his family and I had my family. It's hard to gel families together, but me and Mark are at a stage in our life that we are really, really happy. We've got a good family. I've got two as Mark's still staying with me, and Chloe. And I think we're all, you know, I'm just at such a good point. He adores me, and I really feel blessed. I feel blessed with all my children. I feel blessed with Holly and Katie, you and Kevin and Chloe. I feel a really, really lucky person now. And now it's me and Mark's turn. We're like, we're
just
going to go out and lift it up.
They're just back from a 9-week cruise. Don't start into cruise talk because you'll be here all day telling us all the stories, but we won't go there. But yeah, I guess for you, when you're 32, divorced, single mum, and it's just realising like your better years are actually ahead of you, not behind you.
Oh, definitely.
And that you will find love again. And like I think you mentioned earlier as well, is that when you do find love, you actually pick someone you want to spend your time with. And I don't know, I think you said something like that, didn't you?
I think what we said is you want to spend your old age with, and you know, he's went through his stage of life and all these ups and downs I've went, and you appreciate and you try harder for each other. When you're with somebody, you start taking them for granted, don't you? But I think when you've been through split ups and that, you've got to think to yourself, wait a minute, am I being selfish here? Or he'll say to me as well that he thinks that as well, you know. Mary, maybe sometimes I take you for granted, but I don't mean to, you know. And
Good,
and we get back on track again. But not saying we don't argue, we argue, but we always we have far better times together.
Amazing. So there's a hope out there for any of our single ladies.
Definitely.
Lots of time.
Definitely.
So I put on my Instagram before doing this podcast if anyone had any questions to ask Mum. So one of them was Rachel. She said how you felt going back into studying in later life. So obviously Rachel's one of our members, so I guess I've maybe told her that story. So we've covered that. We've got Marliese, who has asked, what's your favourite mantras to live by? Have you got any favourite quotes, or maybe you've mentioned some today about no matter how bad life gets?
And then what we spoke about something a while ago. What was it? If I knew then what I know now, you know, I think you would stop putting yourself down and believe in yourself more. And I certainly have come to a stage in my life that I've accepted that, you know, you need to start, you know, believing more in yourself. I always feel sorry that somebody feels sorry for me and just say that was good or that, you know, never believing that I was really good at that, you know. But you need to believe in yourself, definitely.
Good, I love that. Great one. One of our members, Alana, has asked, what's a funny story from when Leanne was little?
I think there's a few funny ones. This is a terrible one, actually. I don't think I'll ever live this one down.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever live it down either.
We didn't have that much money, and Leanne had a birthday party coming up.
It wasn't my birthday, it was going to someone's birthday, wasn't it? I got invited to a party.
She got invited to a party, so I'm out shopping while she's at school and going, right, what can I get her? So I'm over in the sales items. Now, older parents will realise what I'm talking about, but you probably don't. When you get pyjamas, you got pyjamas that look pyjamas. Now you get nice wee pyjamas that look quite cool and whatever, but at that time they were either striped or whatever. So I'm in this shop and I'm looking away and I went, oh, that's a nice wee outfit there. And it was a wee cream top.
A wee teddy bear on it. And like pink leggings with pink wee bears all down it.
I think they were cream. Were
they
cream in colour.
All right, okay.
Yeah, it was all cream in colour. So I thought, oh, that's nice. So I put this and I went up to the counter and it was in the sale and I would go, oh, that's all right. And what I'll buy is a nice cream ribbon to go with that. So I'm ironing away at the ribbon and fixing it in Leanne's hair. Oh my God, when she came back from that party, I got it.
I just remember being at the party, having a lovely time, being this kid that doesn't like being around a lot of people. I was actually kind of enjoying myself. Maybe this is why I don't like hanging out with people. Maybe this is the problem. So basically, I was at this party and one of the wee girls comes up to me and just looks at my outfit and she's like, "You're wearing my pyjamas."
Or else she says, "I've got the same pyjamas."
Yeah, you're wearing my pyjamas, or that's my pyjamas. And I was just like, oh my God, I am wearing pyjamas to a party.
And she came in and you were such a huff when you came in. Oh my God, I felt this. I don't think I slept well that night. I felt so bad.
Oh God.
Oh, that was terrible. So it was.
Right. Well,
and there was another one, was the donkey. I don't know if you remember the donkey.
I remember it. I had this purple velvet hat. It's actually where we are just now in Ireland. Grandad had some donkeys up in the back field, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Best, his name was. So Best the beer. So we went up to see Best and I had this purple hat on and she picked it off my head with her teeth, didn't she? Mm-hmm. So I was only tiny. So then my granddad put it on her head and she loved it, didn't she? Oh. She wouldn't give me it back. So then we took it off her and we put it back on me. It was like velvet with like jewels on it. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I remember that hat so well. And they ended up just pulling it back off my head again.
I don't know if you were trying to put the hat on your granddad or whatever. My dad, he was just probably going into his 40s, late 40s then. Would you have been that, Leanne?
Maybe 50s, maybe 50s, I'd say.
50s probably. Or
Yeah.
could have even
No.
been late, older than that
50s.
actually. And Leanne is up at the top of his head.
I was climbing up here like this.
On the couch,
up
round
on the
about
side,
him.
and I got round behind him.
And she said, and she's looking away, and then she looked at my granddad and he says, Granddad's got a big hole in his head. And it was his baldy patch.
I remember that everyone was pissing themselves.
Oh.
Right, awesome. So we do have another questions from Katie Gillis, who said, who's your favourite daughter? But I don't think we'll answer that.
I don't have favourites.
No, and
I
then
don't have favourites.
we Sheeran, you know Sheeran? No, we Sheeran, G Sheeran. Well, she's asked, how did you bring up the most beautiful, confident daughter who is always smiling, which is very sweet. So thank you for that question. That's very kind. But yeah, that's us. I guess one more question that I would just ask, like I've said earlier, just for us to finish the podcast, is that you, like I said, you can clearly tell from this podcast that you have just managed to just kind of keep showing up and keep being driven and keep being the best. Even now, like Mum's learning how to learning how to speak Spanish, like you constantly want to learn and you constantly want to be better, you're constantly driven. And it's just like, we're like, obviously with this podcast being called Lead Her, we're talking about women who are leading, women who are confident, women who are helping each other, just so you guys can learn from all our stories. So like, who do you feel was like maybe a woman who was like a leader to you, or was someone that inspired you growing up, that maybe gave you that drive to keep being better? Does anyone come to mind?
Probably truthfully it was all women. My Auntie Bernie, I used to look up to her. I used to think she was amazing. Like my mum and none of my aunties drove cars at the time. But there was another auntie that did drive, but my Auntie Bernie, she drove, she worked. She had plans of building her own house, and she did build a house, one of the houses that are down there. And she was lovely as well, and I always used to look up to her.
Yeah.
And I always go, I hope I'd love to be like her.
Yeah.
Also, another friend of mine, Stephanie, she was one of the only managers in the company that I worked for.
Yeah.
And that was like a big thing. And she had hard times as well. It was very, very, very difficult for her because, a group of men together, and, she wouldn't be part of all this. And she went on to sort of being right next to the sort of area manager or divisional manager, doing all his work as well. And also she seen something in me that she went on to promote me a few different occasions. She promoted me. So definitely I would say them too. But I would say there's on the way, my journey, it's been all women that have helped me out.
Which is amazing.
So
I love that. Perfect. Anything you would like to finish up on? Anything you'd like to add before we finish today? Are you going to go and do some work now, aren't you?
I'm going down to do
working
some
holiday.
Probably going down to say work. What I would say is definitely looking at my daughters and my stepdaughters, looking now, I am so proud that the world has changed for women, and I think that it's a great thing. And again, you can't look back and regret things, because that wasn't my time. These things weren't happening. But now, go for it. And, if you want to do something, find a way of doing what you want to do. So that's it.
Amazing. Thank you. Did you enjoy that today?
Yes. A bit nervous.
I didn't even look nervous at all.
No.
And do you know what? Actually, I thought you were going to come on and do your professional voice. Mum has a professional voice where she goes, oh, hello, and you talk dead posh. So I was like, I wonder what version I'm going to get on the podcast. But I think painting your nails just kind of distracted you a little bit.
Fine,
so you've got nice fresh nails. You're going to go crack on with work. So thank you so much for doing this today. I honestly think you're incredible.
And thanks for being an amazing daughter. I am
so lucky.
But thank you.
No, thank you so much. And thank you so much for listening, guys. And just as always, if you've got any questions for Mum or anything, would you ever mind if someone wants to ask you a question?
Not at all.
Just give me a wee message on Instagram.
About kids,
email me.
about if your marriage is right, come to me. I'll tell you
She's
what
getting
to
too
do.
comfortable now. She's going to take over the podcast. Maybe we'll get you your own podcast.
Babies, give them Calpo. They'll be fine.
Right, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll speak to you all soon.